Hi, and thanks for joining me again. Today we're going to be talking about trauma and the brain and how it impacts the nervous system. When we experience trauma, our amygdala, the place in our brain that reacts to fear or anxiety or stress, is activated. And that activation initiates a response in the hippocampus that stores that experience as a reference card. Imagine that your brain is like an old library's file cabinet. And if you go to the T section, you'll find all of the traumatic events you've ever experienced. Well, that's what happens in the hippocampus. Basically, it stores your memories. The amygdala is the organ or gland in the brain responsible for your reaction. When we experience trauma, there is a reaction. It's one of 3 or 4 different reactions. We either go into a freeze mode, we go into a fight mode, we go into a flee mode, or we go into a processing mode that now is called tend and befriend. These are all examples of sympathetic nervous system activation. The sympathetic nervous system is part of the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system has 2 parts, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system is responsible for your fight, flight, freeze, tend and befriend response, and the parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for your rest and digest and your self-regulation response. Now, we can be in the parasympathetic system without being asleep or digesting. It's completely possible. When that happens, we're calm, we're balanced, and we're at ease. When we feel anxious, upset, aroused, nervous, this is an indication that the sympathetic nervous system has been activated. You can also call it a hyper-aroused state of being. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system take their cues from the outside world. They pick up on vibrational energy in our surroundings. And it's not just the room that you're in. It's hundreds of miles of radiant vibration. Vibration coming from the sun, vibration coming from all around you in all directions, even vibration coming from the earth. In yoga, we talk about the way we pick up these vibrations. It's through the proprioceptive system. The proprioceptive system is part of the peripheral nervous system. The proprioceptive system is a system of nerves that run out into the periphery of our body. They branch from the chest out through the shoulders, arms, and hands. They branch from the pelvis, down the legs, into the feet. Now this makes sense, right? Because those are the action organs. Those are the initiating organs of any sort of response or reaction if it comes to needing to get the heck out of someplace, or if it comes to wanting to just sit down and take a moment to recharge and ground. Our proprioceptive system picks up information from other human beings, from the earth and its weather systems, and from psychic energy coming through the astral and causal plane. We're constantly connected to the astral and causal plane through the chakra bodies, and the proprioceptive system is part of the chakra system. The central nervous system is directly related to autonomic functions in the body, and it's the communication highway. Once we take in information from the outside world and we process it through the brain sends a signal to the plexuses along the central nervous system that correspond to various chakra bodies. These plexuses innervate different muscle tissues, and when they are stimulated, they cause the muscle tissues to either contract or release. The proprioceptive system is part of the peripheral nervous system that is picking up outside influences, and the interoceptive system is part of the central nervous system's ability to feel what is happening inside the body. When we experience trauma, we now have a calling card for traumatic experience. Anytime we experience anything that's even remotely like it, or that our brain perceives to be like the traumatic experience, it will activate this nervous system response. For example, let's say I go to a party. And when I was young, I was emotionally abused by my parents and told that I was no good and not worthy. So I'm now at the party. I'm with a lot of people. And my body starts to reference the last time I was at a family gathering and my parents put me down. Now my body automatically associates groups of people with traumatic events. The proprioceptive receptors have now taken information in from the room and sent that information to my brain. My amygdala is now reacting, and my hippocampus is drawing on the memories of past trauma. All that information gets relayed to the central nervous system, and the celiac plexus is activated. The celiac plexus is directly related to the solar plexus, and the celiac plexus innervates the gallbladder, the stomach, and the small intestine. Now, my gallbladder, my stomach, and my small intestine are throbbing. They're in spasm because the nervous system has innervated the muscle tissues and caused a response. Now I feel nervous, anxious, and sick to my stomach, and I want to get out of there. All of this is based on a past experience where I felt traumatized. And now there's a pattern or a loop there, an incongruency in my conscious awareness and my unconscious reaction. Later, we'll talk about the healing cycle and how this impacts our ability to heal. When we are activated and go back into our perception and then initiate a nervous system response that feels unpleasant, we actually are reinforcing the old traumatic pattern. This is an effort to keep us safe. This is our nervous system trying to keep us alive. And it's okay. When we begin to heal from trauma, we begin to see that our perception might not actually be true, and we learn new coping strategies and ways to create congruency between our conscious and unconscious mind. When we create congruency, we feel whole and complete, connected and interdependent. Next, we're going to take a look at the chakras as they pertain to the different plexuses in the body. And you can take that information and play with it in your own experience. What traumatic experiences have you found impact you? How have you experienced trauma in your life? Are there patterns around your traumatic experiences? Do you find yourself reacting to certain experiences in the same way over and over again? If you answered yes, then there might be some more inquiry there. For now, noticing the sensations that you feel in your body as you feel them, and noticing what thoughts and feelings are present, will help you to gain clarity around the different ways that your body has stored trauma.